everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is Austin, our broadcast coming to you live from kind of groggy, a little bit rainy California, Los Angeles. Folks, we're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one, because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is a fan-fucking-tastic day. I am in a great mood. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you a little bit about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hassan. I have a Piker between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming a button. For all the parasocialists out there, I'm back. I'm fucking back. I'm back in my house. Did you confirm getting kicked out? I mean, I did. Also, what do you mean, did I confirm? You saw it happen. Folks, we're live, we're alive. For all the parasocialists out there who are like, Hassan, what did you do in between the time period where you press the start streaming button and press the stop streaming button? This is where I would tell you all about that, okay? Not a single bean was licked. I know, I didn't lick a bean. I didn't like the bean. I didn't like the bean. I didn't like the bean. I'm sorry. I want to fucking apologize to the beautiful state of Illinois. I want to apologize to Chicago. Okay. I said I was going to lick your bean, Chicago. I never did. And I will make up for it. I'll come back. I do love Chicago. It's a beautiful city, beautiful people. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Chicago is like clean New York. It's like Chicago's like light New York, cleaner. But last night I ended the broadcast at like 12 Chicago time, after I got kicked out of the DNC, as you guys know, not fully kicked out, but kicked out of but politely kicked. After that polite kick, I made the smart move. I made the right choice to literally fucking evacuate the premises, so I could just before it got super chaotic, I could get back home and I could do my live reacts from the comfort of my hotel room, which is literally why I got that hotel room to begin with as backup. I noticed your rhetoric got way the fuck more radical as soon as it happened too, which was sick. Wait, what? My rhetoric got way more radical as soon as I left? Dog, I literally was pushed away because of what I was doing that was considered radical, which is wearing a Palestinian flag on my waist, talking to Palestinian Americans, including Cory Bush as well, outside of the DNC United Convention Center. I never stopped advocating for the same things that I was advocating for inside of the DNC, outside of the DNC. That never changed. Was that confirmed? There's just whispers, okay? It's not like they're not going to release an official statement. But just know that when there's a situation like that unfolding, there's a million different people that are in communications. And of course, some people are going to be frustrated by what they see, especially because if there's divisions. Remember when I told you about how there's some divisions between like what the Kamala Harris campaign wanted versus what the DNC wanted? Well, the boss call came from the DNC side, I think, who is not exactly fond of me, which apparently they're not fond of anyone really. So that's not shocking. They are fond of APAC. I rewatched the stream yesterday after you left, and the way the lady acted after the guy with the vest came to say something to you was sus as fuck. It seems he wanted to help you get a spot and she shot him down. No, all the people that I was working with were fine. They're fine. They're great. They're doing their best. They're doing their jobs. Okay, everybody calm down. I don't want you fucking talking shit about anybody that you saw on camera. They were all wonderful people. They were not only wonderful people, but they were also they put up with my ass. Okay, I don't think my asks were all that crazy. I've given these asks ahead of time. Obviously, you were a bit of a diva. I was not. You guys are so funny. You're watching from over there, being like, "Oh, you're being a bit of a diva." It's like, no, dog. I was polite to every single person across the board, always. Even after I got kicked out, I was still polite. Even after I got kicked out, I'm still polite right now. Not only that, but also that is a really dynamic environment. We're trying to cut content. We're trying to do 8 hours of fucking nonstop coverage in a very dynamic environment with people who are not fully familiar with the back end stuff, with the logistics of doing such a thing. And all things considered, they were pretty helpful overall. But I don't think you guys understand the lift it requires to be able to put something like that together in a situation like that. If I'm the equivalent of a Jake Tapper type person, right, doing commentary, and also on top of that, a Donnie O'Sullivan type person as well, roaming around, asking people questions, roaming the halls of Congress, or not halls of Congress, sorry, halls of the DNC. My first time ever on top of that, you have to understand something. Like, that is not a thing that anyone else does. Like, it's never like one person. What we were able to do in 4 days, me and March, what we were able to do, and like sometimes my manager on the back end too, were able to do, is something that like hundreds of people that spend millions of dollars to be able to achieve. You understand that? It was an unimaginable feat, in my opinion. It was incredible. March pulled through. He's the GOAT. On your end, you just watch like a seamless stream. Sometimes it Fs, sometimes there's audio issues, whatever. But on the back end, there's so much. There is so much work that goes into it. So much work that goes into it, like lugging that shit around all over the place, you know? Trying to figure out a fucking area, trying to communicate what we need in terms of how we can fucking put that shit together. Like, even the fact that I just sit there and stream for 8 hours, like that alone is like, it can be arduous, right? It can be mentally taxing, physically taxing, right? But beyond that, now try doing that in a dynamic environment where like things are changing regularly. That shit is like a full news team with producers. But instead, we're just randomly fucking, putting this stuff together and rolling with the punches. Like, that's not an easy feat at all. So shouts out to March for the help. Are you sure you weren't just kicked out to give that prime spot to a big name? No, because that prime spot was, I'm almost certain that prime spot was literally owned by a donor who was there, who was a fan. You didn't find it suspicious that no one else left that area? Just me? All the other people that were in that room still? Yeah, they didn't make anyone else evacuate that area? Just me? Come on, chat. Like, there are some things I can say and some things I can't openly communicate to you, okay? But yeah, personal news-wise, all I'm gonna say is went to sleep, woke the fuck up, got on a plane. I don't even know how I made it, honestly. Flew in, saw Cornel West as I was getting on the flight. He was going somewhere else, obviously. Shook his hand, said I'd love to have you on at some point. Didn't actually exchange information, unfortunately, because I had to run in. What do you call it? Like, I had to run into the plane because, you know, it was about to take off. Will you have AOC on? Yeah, we'll have AOC on in the future. Okay, overall, I'll say it like this. The DNC and the Kamala campaign knew what my background was, knew what I would talk about. They knew that I was not going to, engage in any sort of editorial control in terms of like censoring myself. If I see something, I'm going to say something, right? You ain't never getting in again. Honestly, after all that bullshit, it might just be down ballot vote for me. No, I'm not. I don't even agree with that, because next time I'll just go as press. Here's the thing. Okay. There are different levels of credentials inside of the Democratic Party. That area that we were at is the lower level suites. When I was doing this interview with the New York Times, was at the lower level suites. This is the same exact level that like CNN is on. It's the same exact level that like MSNBC is on. When you see like Jake Tapper and whatever, like sitting in front of that podium, in front of that stage, like they are literally, they're on the same level. They gave me the balcony on the same exact level, which is insane access. Okay. And at that point I was thinking, like, honestly, I mean, those are like, yeah, those are $500,000. Like, people pay $500,000 to get those suites. And the fact that I had the access to that level to like show you this background at all, I'm happy. Like, I was going to take anything they were giving me. Yeah. Chris Cuomo said those suites cost millions of dollars. Someone at the DNC probably said, why the fuck are we giving this guy this great suite who's shitting on us the entire time? Yeah, I know. So they didn't obviously like say, fuck off, you're done, we're revoking your access completely, you need to leave the premises. They didn't do that, because that would have been a much larger, I think, that would have been a little silly for them to do. But they basically made it so that like they made it as impossible to stream by coming in and saying randomly, out of nowhere, coming in and informing me that I had to leave immediately. Like, they were like, you have to clear out immediately. That's what they said. And I was like, what the fuck? You saw it. This is what happened. That morning, I interviewed the uncommitted delegates. These are Democratic Party operatives themselves, people that have fought against Republicans in their own states, people that have positions within the Democratic Party. These aren't like anarchists. These aren't like the protesters outside. These are people who work within the confines of the Democratic Party. These are Democratic Party delegates. That's why there wasn't so many people outside in the protest, because they're not letting everybody in. They're obviously not letting anyone in, as a matter of fact. They had a Palestinian American. They had multiple Palestinian Americans that had speeches that were pre-vetted and pre-scripted, as always, that would endorse Kamala Harris at the end of that speech, as a matter of fact. And they had put forward these speakers, and the Democratic Party was not playing ball with them at all, which was kind of fucked up. Not even kind of fucked up. It's really fucked up, because this is a very reasonable demand. It's a reasonable demand. It's a moral demand. It's a just demand. It's electorally positive for the Democrats to show that they're a big tent that also features, you know, Palestinian voices as well. These are American voters, right? These are American Palestinian voters and their friends. These are Arab voters and Muslim voters in key states. I find it ridiculous that they would not, you know, they just wouldn't do anything about that, right? Like, they wouldn't let that happen. I said last night, the attitude from the Dems cannot be, or 2 nights ago, cannot be that these people are simply spoiling the fun. Their demands are moral, reasonable, and just. Forcing Israel to commit to a ceasefire through measures beyond tough talk will also be electorally beneficial to the Democratic Party. It's a win-win-win. Everybody with eyes can understand it. Everybody with a fucking brain can see what's going on. Unless you're completely in a fucking bubble. You look at the situation and you're like, why the fuck wouldn't these guys speak? What are you talking about? Do you think it was a space management issue, or was there a problem with you and your ideas? Because this sounds like a big and chaotic event. No, it was straight up about what I said and what I was doing there, okay? The DNC is strenuously denying that they put out any such false claims. So whichever Dem is saying this bullshit the report is about uncommitted isn't even speaking on behalf of the party, it seems. But the bigger question is, why didn't the DNC accept Rua for Georgia as a speaker tonight? To which I, of course, quote tweeted, why does the DNC have one speed? This is identical to how Israel does Hasbara Lamal. And I think literally right after I posted this tweet, like maybe 30 minutes after, is when I got booted. It was less than half an hour. Yeah, it was like, it was very close to after this tweet. I don't know the exact timestamp. Here's the thing. I had a fucking New York Times interview that was being conducted at the time when they were like, yeah, you got to clear the space, which I thought was pretty crazy. It was like 25 minutes after that tweet. But I still had a New York Times interview that was coming. You know, we still did the New York Times interview, and then they made me clear out my desk. Now I know, because obviously there's like a shit ton of people involved in these decisions and like, you know, playing roles in this. But now I know that like there was, I had heard that there was like already a little bit of a difference in opinion with the Kamala Harris campaign, who I believe wanted me there, versus the DNC, which did not think it was a great idea. Okay, there was a little bit of friction, a little bit of tension, and then obviously, like after that, the boss call was the reason that I got exited in a polite manner. It was not like, fuck you, you're out of here, get the fuck out of here, you're done. It was more so like, hey, you can't be in here anymore. There's a really important person coming in here and we have to clear out the space. Except we're not really clearing out the space. We're only getting you out of this space, right? And when I asked, like, is there another place that I can go to? I have these interviews lined up. I have the Ilhan Omar interview. I have the AOC interview. I have the Sean Fain interview. Like, I set all this stuff up with the full knowledge that you guys gave me, that like with the confidence that you gave me that I have this space where I can do these private interviews, like conduct these private interviews. They said, no, you don't have any other place that we can put you to. Would you do the DNC coverage from the inside again if you knew in advance the uncommitted movement would not be allowed to speak? Yes, I would. Of course I would. And next time the DNC happens in 2028, I will still go. I'll probably even have a better slot this time around as well. Also, they said AOC needed the space as their first excuse, not knowing you were the one interviewing her, which is crazy. Yeah, they lied about that. They were like, oh, AOC's coming into this space. I was like, no, she's not. I know she's not because I'm literally talking to her right now and she's stuck behind a fucking motorcade. And then lastly, they were like, oh yeah, we can put you in the meme room that doesn't have even like Wi-Fi. Not only did it not have Wi-Fi, but there was no Ethernet either. It wasn't just a space issue. And I know that they were like watching because they obviously stream sniped me because they forgot to take my fucking badge for the lower level suites. And then I brought it up and I said, oh, they forgot to take my badge. Maybe they're not kicking us out fully because again, like my press credentials are still there. This is like a different level of access. And they literally right after I said, oh, well, they didn't take my, lower level press credential from me, which means like maybe it is a space issue, right? Like maybe it is actually a legitimate space issue and like we'll be able to recover from here on out. It turns out, no.
No worries. Someone is definitely fucking watching the stream because I literally said, oh, they didn't even take our credentials away.
And then just showed up.
Someone is watching the fucking stream.
But
Just have to watch what you say, I guess, or they'll boot you out for being butthurt. Yeah. No, it wasn't. So it wasn't just that tweet. Okay. That tweet was like the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was my advocacy for having a Palestinian speak at the DNC consistently. It was me wearing a Palestinian flag around my waist, which they consider to be a big no-no, apparently. And also, it was the fact that I talked to the uncommitted movement.